Hey there, Alaska photographer Jeff Schultz here, and today I'm going to show you a comparison between two different anti-reflection lens hoods. These are rubber lens hoods in order to eliminate reflections when shooting through windows. And when I typically do that, my main thing is for aerial photography. It certainly works for a lot of different other options as well, through hotel skyscrapers, through jet airplanes. So there's two different companies that make these. The first one is what's called the original. It's the ULH Go. That's the box that it comes in, and that's this one here. They look almost identical. And then the second one, which is basically a knockoff, I believe, is from STEETOP, whatever that is. So both companies I've looked up, and certainly the ULH one has a better presence on the website and such. So first off, let's compare just what we have here. So I'll start with the ULH one. The ULH comes in two sizes for DSLR mirrorless cameras. The ULH Go, which is what I am reviewing here, fits lenses with filter sizes of 49mm to 82mm. And they have the ULH Original, which is for 82mm and larger. The diameter here is about 50mm, and it stretches a ton. I've found that it doesn't stretch quite enough for certain applications, but overall it's really good. But they do offer an iPhone one or smartphone version as well, which would be really handy for a lot of things, so I highly recommend that. Now, the second one from our friends at STEETOP, whatever that name is, they offer it in two different sizes. So this one it's the one that goes up to 82mm. And this one certainly does not go small enough to put it on like a 50mm small lens. So they have a smaller size that you would want to get. So you kind of have to buy two if you have two different types of lenses for this one. Whereas this one, likely you can make it fit for just about anything. So I want to show you just how easy or how hard they go on. Looking at the website for the ULH one, they suggest that this can actually fit around the lens hood itself. In my use, I don't think that's a good idea, and it's just not as easy. So what I do is I make sure, for instance, that either one of these fits over the zoom area. That's extremely important, so that it fits here on the focusing ring, basically. So I just set the camera down, make sure I want to keep it firm and out, and there I have it. So it's just literally sitting right there. And this is the STSEETOP one, and notice how it holds its shape just fine. What I like to do is I like to put the lens hood on afterwards so that when I do have it against the window, I can actually push against the lens hood and know that I've got something rather than having just this flimsy thing out there. So now let's put on the ULH one. The ULH one is a bit harder to put on because it's, as I mentioned before, it's one size fits all, so it's a pretty small hole to begin with. You can compare the two holes side by side. One of them is much bigger than the other. When I put on the ULH one, I want to fit it over like that and then bring it up. So I have to say that once I put on the lens hood, it's just a little bit more floppy, and it's not more flimsy at all, it's just more floppy because it's so big. So it's hard to maintain shape. So it works just fine, but I find that the STSEETOP one is just a little bit easier. So that's the one I'll mostly be using. What I want to do though now is show you just how I would use those. So as you can see, the reflections here are tremendous. You can see just a ton of reflections. But as I move just a little bit closer and I use one hand on the hood to hold it, the reflections disappear. I mean, to me, that's just fantastic. So it's a great option when you're shooting through glass, or especially with aerial photography. Really an ingenious method to get rid of reflections. So what you do is you just get really close up and you hold it, and then you eliminate that reflection. What I like to do to make it easier is to put the lens hood on so that I can actually, when I hold it, I can push against the lens hood. So that's a good thing, I think, having the lens hood on. And with the ULH one, as I mentioned, this one's heavier. This one is $24.95 on Amazon, and there's a link you can get to right here from this video. $24.95, it's the original one. The other one, again from our friends at STSEETOP, this one is $15.95. Again, you can buy it right here on Amazon. They're both so small, lightweight, compact. I absolutely highly recommend one of these to take with you in your camera bag for when you need them. They're so lightweight you won't even know they're there. So especially if you do aerial photography, that's what I'm all about, getting rid of reflections. Like, take a look at this photo here. This was in a helicopter where normally I'd have the door off, but in this particular case, I didn't have that option. So had I had one of these with me, I would have eliminated this reflection altogether. And this particular photograph is exactly why I went on the hunt for something like this. In my real world tests though, I noticed that the STSEETOP one is actually, though it's flimsier, it's shorter, and therefore for some reason or another it actually stays at its original size, which is nice. It doesn't flop over and such very easily. As opposed to the ULH one, while it's bigger, goes out bigger, it ends up just kind of flopping around a little bit. So unfortunately, I've used them both and they both work okay, but I think if I were to choose one, it would likely be the STSEETOP one. Well, I hope you like this anti-reflection lens hood review and it helps you make better aerial photos. If you'd like to learn more about aerial photography, please watch my video, 5 Tips to Creating Stunning Aerial Photos. There's a link below in the description to that. I'd be grateful if you subscribe to my channel and like the video. Please share it as well. Thanks so very much for making the time to watch and for your support.